Well, we're at Mystery Hill. This was believed to be some type of ceremonial site. As you can see, the sign says right there. Research still continues. So, we're about to go figure out what exactly the mystery is. Now, this is the site. In about 1967, James Hall, a young geologist, he came over here and he drilled a hole in hopes to find something. So he went down a couple of layers into the soil, and he ended up finding tools, like hammers and stuff like that. Now, the best way to find when the data is radioactive carbon dating, and C14 is the particular type of carbon that takes the longest to deteriorate, so that's what they used. Now, the best materials that you can use for carbon dating is both wood and charcoal, and the charcoal dated it to like around 1450, 80, somewhere in that time frame. Obviously, way before Pate ended up building his foundation on top of here. And they built on top of it in order to keep their house stabilized. Some of the structures here isn't consistent. Now, the difference of the big rocks and the small rocks shows the difference in builders. The tree roots went into the foundation, showing that the foundation was actually there before the tree was. And this actually was what first ruled out the Pates as being the one that as being the builders. You know, that among the evidence of the pieces of stone and stuff like that. Alright, now this is the upper well, or also known as the dry well or quartz crystal well. It's believed that it could have been used for like religious stuff or whatever. Anyways, the quartz crystal would like emit this light that they call it would be like a ghost light or earthquake light. The reason why they call it earthquake light is because there's an old fault line. I haven't found it yet, but the fault line itself is not actually active, but the Atlantic, the coast of the Atlantic, there's actually an active fault line that its energy produces through this fault line, and the pressure with the quartz crystal produces this electrical charge, which emits this light. Apparently, this quartz crystal was very valuable to these guys. Alright, now this baby right here is the fault line. Now, this fault line is not active, like I said before, and but the fault line at the coast of the Atlantic Ocean, like I said, does emit some energy that comes up through here, which, like I talked before, would affect the quartz crystal, which emits that light. Very interesting though. Good way to pry pieces of rock and everything like that. Good leverage tool, just using natural resources. This is probably the little nifty toilet right here. And this would have been the start of a drainage system that they had ongoing through here. This would have been used as like a roof slab. This is actually very similar to European structures that they found. Did they get this idea from like the Europeans and made it more advanced, or did they just think of the same thing? A study was actually done with monkeys or apes or something, and what they did is they placed them on one side of the island. There's two different islands, one on one side, one on the other side. They had no visual contact to the other of the other monkeys, and when given this fruit, they started putting salt on it. So the one island, they started washing it off using the water. The other island, the monkeys actually started doing the same thing, which is kind of what this could have been, or they could have gotten the idea from somebody else, just the thought. Alright, now this is the entrance to the oracle chamber, which was believed to be part of their religious theories. Of Indian stories about people that would come up to the speaking rock. The reason why they thought I was speaking, this is what the idea was. See right here, there's enough room, it probably used to be a little bit bigger, but enough room for a body to kind of hide up in here. And here's the speaking tube. Now if you look down in here, it goes all the way into the outside. The outside there's going to be a sacrificial table, or what believes to be a sacrificial table, which I'm going to show you later. But right here, somebody speaking through it, this whole thing, you can't really tell where the voice is actually coming from. Actually hard to tell, but this is the running deer. Obviously weather has kind of eroded it away. And this exit right here never actually used to be here. The steps up here were actually something that was created, well, for everybody to get out of here, I guess. But vandals was what made this opening, this exit here. Alright, this what you see below here is what was known, or what is now called, the sacrificial table. We can't say for sure that it was used for a sacrificial table. There's many other things it could have been used for, such as like juices from like apples or grapes or something like that. Or it could have been used for sacrificing. As you can see, the outline right there would have been this sort of drainage system, and you see the little dip right down at the end, which is where they would have put the bucket to actually collect the fluids that's being drained. Like I said, there's many different theories of what it could have been used for, but the proposed theory so far is that it was used as a sacrificial table. This whole area was believed many different things to either been built by well, they call megalithic builders because they haven't really been able to figure out who built it, but they do know that megalithic builders use a lot of rocks. Some theories this could have been aliens. Stories of Betty and Barney, where they said that they saw alien sightings actually around here. Now, Betty was actually a very intelligent woman, and it was in about the 1960s, and at the time she's already a little bit of a daredevil with interracial couples was looked down upon, and her and Barney were both an interracial couple. And but she says that she was abducted by aliens, and you just have to know where to look for them in order to see them. This whole site right here was believed to have like a major magnetic function about it, which was believed to attract these megalithic builders. And there was something about this magnetic feature that attracted these guys to build in certain areas. So that could have been the reason why they actually chose this area. Also because the hill's so high up above sea level, and also gives them, like, if these trees weren't here, they'd have a great view of the astronomical calendar. And you know, when production is up, they have the time to sit there and figure these things out. This right here is the idea of this astronomical calendar. Each one of those rocks that are standing upright represent. Alright, this is the winter solace sunset monolith, and actually they had quite a hard time finding this rock, but anyways, when the sun sets, you can actually, you're supposed to be able to see it, sun setting behind this rock. But actually, based on the alignment of all these rocks, they were able to find out exactly when it was based on the North Star, what used to be the North Star. So by like polar alignment, they were able to determine how long ago it was, and they figured it was between 36,000 and 17,000 BC, or after 1450 AD. So, which basically kind of went along with their findings with the carbon dating too. So it was two pieces of evidence showing that's when the time period was. Occam's razor tells you to use what seems most logical and easiest to figure out what was made. Now, you go back far enough into history, you know, everything was generated from people all came from one area. Now, obviously, the Indians definitely were around this land way before Columbus. The question is were there people before the Indians that came here and built it? We do know that the Indians did end up living here during the Woodland Age. Whether or not there's anyone before them or a different tribe of Indians had made it is unknown. Alright, well, I guess the real question that everybody wants to know is who built this place? Like this whole astronomical calendar, there's a lot of other people have done it. The Celtics, I've seen some of the Celtics works myself in Ireland. Amazing, huge stone piles that they made. Crazy. Could have been religious aspects, which is part of the reason why a lot of remains weren't found. But people like Freder, who wrote the book Frauds, Myths, and Mysteries, he says that this is the cleanest site he's ever seen because there really wasn't a lot of evidence found. So I mean, there's reason to believe it could be just a complete myth. This could all have been made up. But I mean, there was also other facts such as carbon dating and the way the astronomical calendar is actually set up, showing when it was done, the time period of it. And so I guess it'll leave us all really to wonder who exactly made Mystery Hill. Alright. This is what was believed to be the watchtower. There's also animals in here, so. Yeah. The room back there actually goes in pretty far around the corner. And because I'm paranoid of snakes, I'm not going to go all the way in there. Oh my god, record that. You see it? Mm-hmm. Oh my god, that is awesome. Mm-hmm. Where are they? There's two of them. We got both of them on there. They're fine together. Look at the one right up in the sky.
I can't.
Sun's gonna get in the way. That one right there. Change this camera.
You do it.
Where the fuck is he? There he is. That's cool. The other guy's following him. Yeah, we can get in closer.